And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody. Welcome in another edition of TigerBait Live. Got a full show tonight. Obviously, a lot going on. LSU Dallas Baptist at 7 o'clock. You'll have to watch that on, what is it? Flow, what is it? It's a pay-per-view. You'll have to look for that online. We've got how to watch on our TigerBait message board on tigerbait.com. First, ought to be a decent test. It's not. I don't know if this is a typical Dallas Baptist team, but of course, this is a nice swing in Texas for Jay Johnson and his team. LSU women at Alabama tomorrow night. Another big game for Kim Mulkey. 2 games left in the regular season. We can discuss that. And, of course, we're going to talk about that even more at 7:30. Emily Ward and I will do another show inside LSU women's basketball. But we can talk both here as well. Football practice, buddy. Just a couple of weeks away, and we're ready for it. So, and we can talk Matt McMahon if you want, and LSU softball, gymnastics, whatever else you guys drive the show as always. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough. Yeah, I want to thank you and Zach for filling in for me last week. I obviously lost a really close friend, Al Mix, one of my golfing buddies for about 40 years, inexplicably passing. So we hope that he rests in peace. But 8 LSU teams still in the top 10. We're trying to get a pulse of what the baseball team is going to be like. I did not think they would lose to Omaha. But they did, and they've come back, and you know, and Mike and I were talking about it before. Didn't hurt them in the polls, so they're 2-2-3. Softball undefeated at 14-0, going out to California for a swing, playing UCLA and some other teams. Gymnastics number 2 in the country, took down Oklahoma, got them a decent road score at Kentucky last week. Men's basketball once again, 4-guard offense. Last 2 games, Mike, been out rebounded 18 to 20 boards the last 2 games. Now, granted, Florida's number 2 or 3, Tennessee's number 4 or 5, so a lot of competition there. And as you alluded to, 2 weeks from today, when we do this show on March the 12th, we will have our first opportunity to see the 2025 LSU football team. They open up on March the 8th, a Saturday, then have a Tuesday. We don't have availability those first 2 days, but then Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, that first week, we do have availability. You'll hear players, you'll hear Coach Kelly, and, of course, you'll get some spicy Manda practice reports. So I got a feeling it's going to be a little spicy with some practice reports.
Smoky Investment Team practice reports are back, and we'll be that first Wednesday. We'll have our first one, so looking forward to that. I'm really am looking forward. I went back, and while we know the dates and the media availability, they haven't given us the time yet, but just by going by the last 2 years, 7:55 a.m. They practice in the morning during the spring. They get it out of the way, and they don't go to class until around noon. So that'll be nice. And a lot of new faces, a lot of new jerseys to remember. We're going to be pulling rosters in and out of our back pockets as we learn each guy's number and being able to recognize them after so many days. But you and I talked about it earlier today. You know, a lot of play on wide receivers and what they did in the portal. I'm looking forward to edge rushers. Certainly, you got some new corners and DBs as well. But there's going to be a lot to look at early on in spring camp.
Well, the other problem that everybody has, including us, and when we first go out there, is that we have a lot of duplicate numbers. And, you know, some people don't like that. Some people want to wear what they wore high school, whatever. So we will try to break it down for you. But, yeah, I wish we had better light synchronization. I'm talking about traffic lights. My buddy Fred Rayford used to handle that. I don't know if he still does it, but light synchronization in this town just absolutely sucks. Traffic sucks, and so you and I will be cussing as we go, and we're trying to get there for 7:55, and here it is 48 and 49, and you and I are scrambling over there. But we'll have a lot of fun
so
with
it.
We
need to get the new mayor Sid on the phone.
Well, I don't know if he can handle that or not.
Yeah.
But anyway, we will we'll bring you a little bit of what we see and hear out at the practice field starting in a couple of weeks.
All right, let's dive in. Y'all do me a favor. Please share the show out to your social media. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show, as always. And Fire 3449 always says, yeah, hit that like button. Thank you, Fire. Chance Babin, DBU versus the school formerly known as DBU. That's right. And we'll see if Corey Raymond and company can get that DBU moniker back for that LSU defensive backfield.
Crazy tidbit here. LSU's never played Dallas Baptist in baseball. First meeting ever. They've come to the box. We've talked about them. You and I were talking about them. Their coach was up for discussion as getting a look-see here before Jay Johnson nailed the job.
Everybody said he wasn't a fit.
Yeah, wasn't a fit. And back to that other DBU, that's one of the things I'm going to be locking in. I want to see how good Mansour Delane's going to be. I think he's a plug-and-play corner at starter. DJ Pickett, is he going to get bigger and stronger? Is he going to be 185? Is he going to be lean? All the other guys coming in. And then, of course, Ashton Stamps and the rest of the guys. So we'll break it down. Mike and I usually kind of determine, look, I'm going to look at offense, you look at defense. So we give you a wide range and scope of position battles, and obviously we'll have to monitor the backup quarterback situation. Juwan Johnson will be going in as the number 3 quarterback behind Van Buren and Nussmeier. I don't think we'll see the young guy who just – is he turned 18 or is he still 17, Colin Hurley?
Oh, yeah, he's got to be 18 now, I think.
Okay, well, we're probably not expecting him to be
I think he just turned 18.
Yeah.
Lisa DeLong, will the game be shown live? You got to go to flowcollege.com, FLOcollege.com, and it's a pay-per-view. And I think it's one of those deals, too. I think I'd subscribed to their service to see an LSU women's game in the Bahamas or something a few years ago. I think it's one of those deals where if you subscribe for it, you need to hurry up. I don't know if it's a one-game deal or not. But if it's not, be sure to cancel right after because they'll bill you again in a monthly or something.
Yeah, quality production will probably not be of the utmost importance tonight. Just be happy you see the game.
Yep. Big Stat Kelly, good evening, Mike and Buddy and fellow TigerBait BFS. Louisiana is getting serious about NIL and keeping up with the times. Yep. Lawmakers, there's going to be a bill introduced or filed to make it so that it's a tax write-off, or it's you can put it on your taxes. NIL, we can have a debate whether that's fiscally sound or I imagine most people probably don't think something like that should ever be in place. But if it affects your favorite football team, maybe you're for it. But we'll see how it goes. The reason why you have to do it is because the other SEC states are doing it.
Thank you. Dixon McMahon is going to propose the bill. Georgia did it first. Alabama quickly followed suit. And basically, as we know, this is one of the problems. Every state's had their own little NIL deal. And basically what this is saying, I think, if I read the gist of it, is that you're going to be able to give money to NIL and have it as a tax write-off. And so, look, if Georgia and Alabama are going to do it, I made a joke and said Louisiana would probably be about 38th or 48th when it all came down. But kudos to Dixon McMahon to get the ball rolling. You may not like it, but if you want to beat Georgia and Alabama on Saturday night, you got to have similar rules.
Absolutely.
Especially with NIL.
All right. Yeah, the Flow Sports app. So you have to have that app. So you can either watch it on your tablet or sling it to your TV or however you want to do it.
Connor Ware on the mound tonight. Junior transfer portal guy, lefty. Only went 3 innings. Locates well, throws a lot of strikes. Obviously, you'll see other pitchers. Gavin Guidry, in case you missed this week, has some kind of oblique injury or midsection injury that woke up with last Thursday, and so he is going to be out this week. His availability will be addressed next week by Coach Johnson.
All right, we're brought to you by our title sponsor each and every week, and that's Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. Let's hear from Mike and Alex.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There it is, 855-PRIDE-16. You're calling for a free roof inspection. Say TigerBait, and not only with that free roof inspection, they're going to pay a $99 value for you to have TigerBait Premium free for a year. You cannot beat that deal. And again, a locally owned, Louisiana owned and operated company, Pride Roofing. Known Mike Faraday my entire life, the entire Faraday family, no finer people. And of course, he's a Broadmoor High LSU grad. And Alex Martinez right there with him. Fantastic group. And of course, based in Hammond, new location here in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Homa, the North Shore. They've got you covered, whether it's commercial or residential roofs. And it got real big in metal roofs, buddy.
No doubt about it. We had the acquisition of Crown Metals. Ever since that, it has changed the metal roofing business in the state of Louisiana. Look, folks, all we ask is that you give them opportunity, always a free roofing inspection. They'll get up there. They'll talk with your adjuster. They'll give you the ins and outs. Good people. Many of you have done business with them. And as we always say, and this is important, very competitive with pricing.
Yeah, 150.
They won't go the extra mile, and they've got a guarantee that Mike will tell you about.
Yeah, you have it a competitor's bid on letterhead, and they will beat it by $150 every single time. They're on a first name basis with the insurance adjusters. They use the same software to price out your roof that the insurance adjusters use. And again, Pride Roofing. The best thing about them is they stock about $2 million worth of roofing shingles at all times. And so you pick out a particular color, there's something you want, there's a good chance they've got it in stock, none of it builder grade. And so you're not going to be waiting around 2 or 3 months for your new roof to get put on. Most roofs they can do in a day if the weather's nice. So there you go. All right, let's dive into some more comments. P-Dub, okay, guys, who is LSU's third baseman? We know they have a trio or so work out that position, but who do y'all believe is the best fit?
Braswell started slow last year. This is something I didn't realize. He led LSU in batting average in the SEC last year, but the last 4 or 5 weeks, he tore it up. He really hit the long ball and hit the ball really well at the end. But he's starting slow. I equate baseball and golf. You're not playing your best golf right now. It's muddy. It's brown. The ball's not carrying very far. Same thing with baseball. Takes a while. That's why they lost to Omaha. They just had a goose egg until they scored 4 runs in the ninth. But interesting question. Tanner Reeves did get the start. He's a new player. 28 of the 40 players are new at LSU. I think, and Jay doesn't like that tinkering word, but I think he's going to be tweaking and tinkering until he gets somebody. Milam at shortstop is solid, but Braswell will have to fight off Tanner Reeves and some other guys. So I think it's too early to determine if he'll be able to hold off everybody, but I'm expecting he will because of what he did last year.
I imagine that Dallas Baptist scene is going to be pretty crazy tonight for them to have LSU in their park. That's going to be regardless of their ranking and them not, as of now, not looking like a typical DBU team. That's a really nice thing to have on the schedule. Gives this team a test. And then this weekend, you get Nebraska, who's in the top 25. So, real quick, within a couple of weeks of the season, LSU's playing some teams that give you a little bit of an idea of what you've got going forward.
Yeah, Tigers have hit 7 home runs so far, have only given up 1. ERA under 2. That's going to change. Batting average for LSU right now, 324. Derek Curiel, kid they were lucky to get to come to LSU and not sign a pro, has leading this team. Bear Jones getting hot. Going to be fun to see them. 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon at the Frisco Classic against Kansas State. 4 o'clock on Saturday with Nebraska. 4 o'clock on Sunday against Sam Houston. And look, LSU draws well in Texas. So third time, Mike, that this college team, LSU, has played in a major league ballpark. Rangers tonight, Astros 5 times. And in the 90s, they went to the Metrodome in Minneapolis. So that's a thrill for these college players.
Absolutely. Jerry Zimmerman, are we set at catcher? You got an opinion on that?
Well, you got 4 guys, and really 2 of them have been Cade Arumbidi has struggled a little bit at the plate, but he's getting a lot of reps. Luis Hernandez, another guy. Of course, Blaze Priester hasn't got much, and Eddie Yaman I think it's going to be a Beatty and Hernandez, but still up in the air. You know, that's the great thing about having the kind of depth you got on the team this year, Mike. They're gonna play the guy that's hot, and of course, as we know, same thing's happening in the outfield. Got about 6 outfielders that they are alternating. So Jay doesn't like that T word, tinkering, but he's going to have to do tinkering here all the way up until sometime in April.
I'm texting Kendall Rogers. I'm going to get y'all that promo code so y'all can watch the game this weekend.
On D-Wayne Baseball. And by the way, Ben McDonald will be calling all 3 games LSU this weekend at the Frisco Classic. Had Big Ben on the show today, and he will be the analyst. And so Mikowski's the play-by-play guy, and Ben McDonald on the color for all 3 games on D1 Baseball this weekend.
Yeah, it's either LSU 10 or LSU 20. I want to say it's LSU 10. It might be 20, but they've got a promo code. I'll wait for Kendall to text me back, and I'll drop that on you guys so you'll have that for this weekend. All right, let's Dr. John Sibley Butler, Dallas Baptist can play. They absolutely can. They're well coached, and that's a neat little baseball program that they've got over there.
Dr. Butler wanted us to both make that trip on a Sunday to see LSU and Kim Mulkey play at Texas. They were in control of the game, and then Texas had their way in the second half and gave them one of their defeats. Mike, I've watched South Carolina, watched Texas, and I heard Gary read us on the postgame on one of these shows. There is a lot of college basketball parity, both men and women's. It's a crapshoot this year. But the women's, Carolina doesn't have the post player. We know that UConn went over and stomped them over at their place. So if you stay healthy and peak at the right time, this team can go well. And by the way, I got to give a shout out to Cheyenne Day Wilson. I've been tough on her, like a lot of other LSU fans. That is the best game she's played. Did a great job. Coach Mulkey stressed when Georgia Amore gave up the ball, they really got up close to her, didn't want her to get it back. Last year, poor, unfortunately, a half step slow this year, and so they made some 3 balls on her. But look, we still know that Samaya and Jersey and Anissa Morrow are going to be challenged with these bigs down the stretch. But already with a double bye in the SEC tournament, and I would bet any kind of money that you have in your pocket, LSU will be hosting first and second round in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center.
Kendall hadn't replied, but he might be eating a steak dinner with Ben McDonald, or he might actually be at that Dallas Baptist game. I'm not sure, but obviously they're gearing up for that one up there. Chance nails it. I think it was LSU 20. I think you're right. You'll find out. Play around with the box when you check out. Put in LSU 20 and see if it works. And I think that'll give you a 20% off the pay-per-view. Kendall created that for LSU fans to give a discount. And I think we're doing our Batter Up Baseball's show tomorrow, so I'm just waiting to hear back on that as well. Man, Dr. Butler, he keeps saying LSU is going to be in the finals in basketball.
Women's?
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have a really nice draw, and at some point, whether it's Day Wilson, KG, Samaya,
Miracle,
you're going to need a couple of those that are going to have to be consistent or really have a really strong game. It just can't be the main 3. Yeah. Once you get to a certain round. Just when I think they're a Sweet 16 at best, and they go to Kentucky and look like that in the second half, I can't figure it out. And I always think we're probably too rough on this team because we watch them every game. And but like Kim Mulkey said on Sunday, don't forget this team's only lost 2 games all year long.
Unbelievable.
And both of them were on the road.
Yeah, you made the key point with the key word, the draw. And you know, quite frankly, I was a little surprised. They won a couple games and went on the road and beat a top 15 team. I thought they might move up a spot, but a lot of parity up there with the top 7 or 8. But it's the draw. They are seriously going to piss off the LSU fan if this team is the 2 seed and has to go out west to play Seattle. This team draws a lot of places.
They should be in Birmingham.
And
in Birmingham, they will have a huge crowd, paid crowd for that regional site.
And so I think the draw is going to determine how far they can go. Definitely.
Is it Seattle out west or is it Portland? There's two sites.
I'm not sure. I hadn't looked at it, but I know that
LSU wants to be in Birmingham, so that's why they need to win these next two games. Alabama tomorrow night, Ole Miss on Sunday. You get a double bye in the SEC tournament, and don't give the NCAA selection committee. They're looking for a reason to give LSU a poor seed. They always give you one less than they deserve. It's highly political. I think most of them on that committee don't like Kim, and that's just the way it's been since she got here.
Yeah,
you know it, now I know it.
Yeah, I was going to give an analogy, but we won't bring politics in. But sometimes leaders and winners are hated.
Yep. All right, let's see. Yeah, there you go. 5-3-4. Moki has to get Williams to shoot the ball more from outside. Boy, she's hitting some key three-pointers this whole season. And when she's on, she's on. And Carver's Door says, Buddy is right. It's all about matchup and seeding. It is.
Hey, listen, I'll say this about Michaela Williams, and finally we're waiting to see this. Mike was one of the first ones that went all the way up there to North Louisiana, filmed her or interviewed her. Big coup to get her. Everybody wanted her. Showed signs of greatness, but inconsistent last year. Had to get her body right. I don't know if you've noticed it, but the last couple of games, I'm starting to feel like, look, we know what Flau'jae brings to the table. We know what Anissa Mara brings, but Michaela, to me, is now starting to believe, you know what, if there's a big shot, and in this game against Kentucky, they were only up one, and she hits a big three and finishes it like that, I think she's getting more confident. She's starting to realize how good she can be if she shoots the basketball from the outside, and they don't turn it over, they're going to be tough to beat.
Y'all are going to want to go to TigerBait and subscribe either tonight or tomorrow. If you're not already a subscriber, go subscribe for $1. Tomorrow, we're going to have either 4 or 5 premium football recruiting updates, some really, really good ones, including a wide receiver that, of course, everybody's interested in around here. And so a lot of football recruiting coming your way on TigerBait.com. Spring football is going to bring a lot of recruits on campus, so football recruiting is about to kick into another gear. And we'll be out on the road, TigerBait for spring evaluation period. Well, that's Caroline Bradley. Fire Mike. What class is the 6'5" girl from North Louisiana that committed? Well, she hadn't committed yet, but she's class of 27. And if Oak Grove wins tomorrow night, Oak Grove will be in Hammond for the women's semifinal. And if they win that one, they'll be in the final. But they'll make it to Hammond. And I'll be there. I'm gonna head there for that one. So if y'all, that'll give you a chance to see her. Last year they didn't get that far, and that's why I drove out to Fairday a couple of 3 weeks now ago to get to see her. But it's amazing to me that she's still got a couple more years left of high school, and be real curious I can't wait to see what she's going to look like in the next couple of years.
And she started to shoot the three a little bit. And then look, Coach Moki's always had bigs, and I can't wait to see those 4 or 5 stars coming in, Grace King and others. And so, look, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out this year. You know, everybody's asking about this team and next year and all of that. And I ask you, and we talked about this, how much longer is she going to enjoy this and be here? How many more championships? But, man, it is so competitive with the SEC now. Kentucky's good. Alabama. When is the last time you remember Alabama's women team caring and doing a top 20 matchup tomorrow night, 8 o'clock? And then Ole Miss is not a team you sleep on. So,
and here's the deal. Depending on the dates, I'd have to go look at when those dates would be if Oak Grove wins tomorrow night and how that coincides with the SEC women's tournament. But if it works, there's a good chance now you get to see Caroline Bradley, but you'd also have Kim back in her home stomping grounds, walking around that arena. So there you go. The last time she was there was the Angel Reese show when that whole deal where we were wondering if she was going to play or if she had made the trip or not.
Oh, yeah, I remember. You were filming all that stuff.
During that whole drama. LSU played Southeastern in that arena. All right. That was a nice crowd there too that night. All right.
By the way, men have at Mississippi State one more final week. Men play 18 conference games and women play 16. And the big talk right now is what's going on with Corey Chess. He hadn't played a lot. And how many of these good players like Robert Miller and Victorious Miller can Matt McMahon hold on to? Damian Collins has another year. Mike, it's imperative. He's going to have to bring in players from the NIL. He's going to have to keep some of these guys that are playing. Jordan Sears is gone. Cam Carter is gone. Jai Bailey's gone. Derek Fountain is gone. No more Trey'Dez Green. You could see.
How many guys does he on this current roster do you absolutely fight for?
3 or 4.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to probably have to bring in at least 6 or 7 new players. And John Brady and I were talking about how do you determine what you offer this guy when the bigger money pockets like Arkansas and everybody else, they can come right behind you and take him just by offering more money. This is not going to be easy, but they have made a concerted effort.
That's why when you come on the official visit, you have everybody involved.
Yeah.
And if you can bring in powerful basketball alumni, you pull out all the stops. And look, it's still the LSU brand. The LSU brand is better than Arkansas's, regardless of whether you want to say the program itself and Calipari being there. I'm sorry. When you start pointing out the Livy Dunns and the Skeens and the Jaden Daniels and everything else, Shaq and everything else has come through here, you still have something to sell.
Call me crazy, but every time we have John Brady on the radio show, it seems like the next game they win. So I'm going to make a prediction. We said they win 3 or 4. They're at 3. They pull the W. They pull the upset and beat Mississippi State, lose the final 2 games, and finish 4-14 in the conference. Mike said the women could possibly go 14-2. I said 13-3. I'm leaning your way now. They take care of Alabama. No way they're going to lose to Ole Miss on senior night. That, by the way, senior day and night is 3 o'clock on Sunday, hosting Ole Miss. So winding down with the women. Men have the game Saturday in another week, and so it goes by quick, Mike.
All right, there it is. You see it on the screen. Number 1 in sales, Genesis of Lafayette. They are proud to announce that they have been the top-ranked Genesis dealership in Louisiana for 2 consecutive years, and that's based on new vehicle sales volume as recognized by Genesis Motor America. That incredible honor reflects their commitment to luxury, innovation, and top-tier customer service. And so they want to say thank you to their amazing team, loyal customers, for making that achievement possible. And again, give them a call, 877-856-2961. Tell them TigerBait sent you in. Genesis of Lafayette. I don't care where you are in the state of Louisiana. You want to deal with Genesis of Lafayette. Look at that GV80. Look at that GV70. There's a reason why those vehicles top just about every category in luxury vehicle rankings. Truly a fantastic vehicle, and they really have undercut all their German counterparts in pricing, and none of those Germans can touch the interior, the quality of the interior of the Genesis vehicles either. So check them out, Genesis of Lafayette. All right, let's see what we got here. Marcus Stewart says he's listening from Global Life Field. All right. John?
40,000 seat. Ask him to give us an opportunity to predict attendance. How many do you think they'll get in there? LSU's big in Arlington and big in Houston. What are we expecting? 12, 14,000?
I bet.
Yeah. I'm hoping for
that's
that.
Probably the low number.
Yeah.
Well, Houston's going to draw more, right?
Yeah.
The Shriners, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong. Dr. John Silly Butler, Kentucky has the best lady point guard, and then everyone else. Yeah, Georgia Moore, something else.
But she did not play well in that game, was 3 for 15 behind the arc. And let's give Cheyenne Day Wilson a lot of credit because she was quick enough to defend her. And look, when you can shoot it, as we know, but Georgia Moore is very good. But look, there's a lot of good point guards.
What does that say? Kentucky goes out and hires Coach Brooks. She follows him. Look what Kentucky's doing in women's basketball. I mean, we talked about it almost every week. This time last year, you only had 2 teams in the top 25, and now you've had 7 and sometimes 8 in the top 25, depending on which poll you look at. And you've always had 1 or 2 hanging around and receiving votes. It's amazing. You talked about it earlier in the show, the parity or just how strong basketball is in the SEC in both men and women. And that's why it's important for Matt McMahon. And look, this offseason is going to be important for Kim Mulkey. They're both going to have to hit some home runs in the portal. And, need to start having the discussion. But, we're weeks away from the season being over. And what's the decision Flau'jae Johnson's going to make? I think it's 50-50. I don't know that it's a slam dunk.
What's she going to do?
She could go pro.
I don't see it.
She might not. We'll see.
I don't see it. Why would you want to go into the life of the WNBA when you're making millions of dollars? Now, her boyfriend is graduating, Chris Hilton. And, oh, by the way, I've said this jokingly, but it's true. Ever since Chris Hilton and Flau'jae have become the LSU power couple, succeeding Paul Skeens and Libby Dunn, Chris Hilton's catching the football. So he's got to catch with Flau'jae. Big year for number 3 this year. And how about throwing something out there on a Wednesday night? He scores the first touchdown of the season against Clemson. Oh, by the way, we'll say it a million times.
Well, you're making predictions now. Pick a winner for that game.
No, hey, we'll say it a million times from now. BK knows he has to beat
when he's
Clemson.
Fussing at me about, you don't know, you can't make that prediction right now, but he just made that prediction.
Well, because of Flau'jae.
Okay.
But no, look, Flau'jae, I don't know why she'd want to go into the world of the WNBA when she's got the rest of her life in the palm of her hands with all of her.
Sometimes, look, you went to college. I mean, at what point in your junior year or even before, you're like, man, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm had enough of this, right? And she's got her hands in a lot of things. Sometimes I'm not saying she's outgrown it, but,
Well, you may have some scoop. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not predicting anything.
Yeah.
I mean, look, she's got a little show that she does on TikTok and everything.
I know.
And she floats it out there. What should I do?
Sure.
Nobody sticks around forever.
Of course, Anissa Morrow and some of the other ladies are going to be graduating. And it is interesting. I think you hit a key point earlier as well. They will go as far as the seeding, but they will also, I think they're going to need their bench because these good teams are going to make sure they don't let the big 3 beat them. You got to account for Michaela and Anissa and Flau'jae, but Miracle and KG and all the rest of them, Samaya and Jersey. Jersey's an X factor that can come along, but they're going to need some help on the bench during the tournament.
All the skepticism and me throwing shade at Beth Torina all these months and last couple of years, is she going to make me look foolish? She's looking darn strong right now, huh?
Can you say OKC? There you go. We got another Manda prediction tonight, folks. It's a spicy one. Now, they're going to make it to OKC this year because they've got a lefty phenom, Jaden Heavener, and of course,
where are they going to finish in the SEC?
Well, I don't know, but they're going to make it to OKC.
Top 4?
They've got 2 great pitchers.
Top 4 for sure in the SEC?
Yeah, right around 4 or 5.
You top 4 in the SEC.
They're hitting the ball better. 14-0. They're going out to California this weekend. They'll get a better idea. Playing
top
UCLA.
4 in the SEC. That means you're probably top 5 in the nation.
Yeah. But she's got more speed. She's hitting through the lineup. Tori Edwards is a utility player that's been on fire. And so, but man, having a lefty and a righty like Sydney and Heavener, it changes the landscape because, you have 2 great pitchers in softball. You can be pretty dominant.
Yep. Nicholas Walker, LSU can win without a top point guard, but everything else has to fall right. They definitely have the most dynamic big 3 of anyone. Yeah, and that's been my point all season, Nicholas. We sit there and say, man, Samaya's not coming, she's still not 100%, or maybe she's not psychologically 100% and tentative on the knee, or, Jersey's undersized, or, whatever it is. Bemoaning that the 3 transfer portal guards haven't done what you thought they'd do, on and on. But how many teams in the country have the 3 that LSU's got?
Yeah.
And so that was what I was saying earlier. If you can get one or two of those to, be consistent in the NCAA tournament, that can be the difference of this team. Look, I mean, I like to, when we're waiting for Mulkey, I'll kind of quiz the media, the beat guys that cover the team, and I'll ask them what they think. And I think probably the consensus of the media, off the record, when I quiz them, has been Sweet 16 is being the ceiling.
Yeah.
But it's all about the draw. And so
got to make free throws.
These next 2 weeks are, Kim doesn't like to make the SEC tournament sound important. But again, those committees, and I don't know who's on it this year, but I'm highly skeptical of its membership and those in the powers that be, and them ever doing the right thing by LSU and their seeding.
Yeah.
So don't give them an excuse to give you a 3 seed and then send you out west if you once you win your 2 games in Baton Rouge.
Got to minimize the turnovers and make free throws down the stretch. Look, everybody out there knows guards carry you in March, whether it's men or women. Oh, by the way, SEC, you ever remember SEC Joe Lenardi, Auburn and Alabama looking to be 1s, Florida and Tennessee looking to be 2s. Mike, I've never seen this kind of talent in the SEC basketball. Usually ACC when we were growing up. This is the best I've ever seen the league with the men.
Absolutely. Big Stack Kelly. I'm not holding my breath on softball. Great regular season and can't make it to OKC. We'll see. Brad David, Mike, do you think Hugh Freeze is on the hot seat? Look, Auburn's been spending some money. What are their expectations?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he'd get another year, even if he had a bad year. But like you alluded to, they've gotten back involved with the NIL. Their biggest problem is calling plays and getting the right quarterback in there. And we'll see. It's kind of interesting since LSU's not playing Auburn.
But at some point with him, it's like, okay, maybe another year. What do you got to do this year? 9-3. I mean, do they tolerate a 7-5 or 8-4?
Yeah.
DeBoer's there, not Saban. They got to be figuring it's their time to make a move at some point.
Yeah. By the way, it does seem like all of the early talk that we hear is that LSU is going to be preseason AP poll 9 or 10 in that area. You buying, or do you think that's too high to start?
I don't think it's too high.
Yeah.
I'm buying.
I don't know. I want to see what these guys look like. When you throw everybody into the locker room and almost 48% of the team is new. Same thing with Jay Johnson. He's got 66% of his roster new. It takes a while for these guys to gel.
Yep. Dr. Butler with a super chat. Thank you, Dr. Butler. Is Coach McMahon the kind of coach you can take a great player's game from him by forcing him in a system? Is that a problem? I just look, when you have a key injury like he had and your total NIL budget for your roster is $2 million and all your peers in the upper third of the SEC are at 7+, look, you can lose at home by 31 to Texas, and that's never acceptable. But I don't know how you really critique this guy when he's, he's wearing a straitjacket, so to speak. I mean, he's not operating on the same level as everybody else. So, we keep hearing they're going to be $7+ million to spend in the portal. Let's see what he can attract and what he can do when he's got a roster and they're healthy. And obviously next year's the year. No guarantees beyond next year. He's got to get it done.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I just don't know if he has a feel of rotations. They went with the 4-guard lineup, had 6 of their first 8 shots last night, 3 balls, had a substitution change at the 5-minute mark with TV timeout, and brought in some guys that were totally different. And so Robert Miller, you got to keep him. Victorious Miller, if you want to have anything next year, you've got to pay him and keep him here. But Mike, they're just short on talent, and I think it's going to be contingent on what he brings in from the portal if he's going to make it.
Dr. Butler, thank you so much for that super chat. Always appreciate you supporting us the way you do.
By the way, Dr. Butler, hell of a golfer, and he has shot his age. Anybody that knows golf, if you shoot your age, you are pretty darn special. So if you play golf with Dr. Butler, make sure that you get some strokes on the first tee.
All right. Dykes Electrical, everybody. They're the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. You need a brand new 10-story office building. They can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse you need built, they can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, they can wire that. Changing out a breaker, a whole electrical panel, or just a receptacle in your home or office, they can wire that. And upgrading the old lighting in your home or office, they can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project, and let them know TigerBait sent you in. A local Baton Rouge company, Louisiana owner and operated, big LSU fans in the building. And I tell you what, when you go to their website and you see some of those examples of their projects, I think they did the brand new Prairieville High School and others. No projects too small or too big. They fixed some things in Preston's house that he'd had problems with forever, and it was done in minutes. So Dykes Electrical is who you need to deal with, folks. All right, let's dive back in here. Fire 3449. Mike, during the LSU Ole Miss game, they showed Jay with baseball recruits on the sideline. Jay said that the atmosphere was a huge selling point. McMahon does do the same, as does Kim Mulkey. They absolutely bring unofficial and official visitors to LSU home games whenever possible. I remember back in the day.
Wait, were you talking basketball or football? Because, I mean, let's be honest, the basketball atmosphere for the men.
I was about to get to a story. Next time you have John Brady on your show, ask him if this story's true. I was told that back in the day that they were, I don't know if it was Joe Dean, but it was probably Skip, where Saban got after, I was told that Saban got after Brady because of how bad his December schedule was. And the games were terrible for him to bring recruits to.
Well, look,
I want to say I asked Brady that story before, and he confirmed it, or he said I think it's partially true or totally true.
They all help each other out.
But you remember back in the day, basketball games were huge for eyeball and football recruits.
Sure, no doubt. But still, Tiger Stadium, I think you bring a softball kid or baseball kid in here, you bring them to Tiger Stadium, and you get a little bit of the atmosphere. That's a tough sell to beat.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Y'all get us some more questions, and we'll get to them. We're going to go right till 7 o'clock, and don't forget, Emily and I are going to be doing Inside LSU Women's Basketball at 7:30, and we'll be doing that while we keep an eye on the LSU baseball game as well. I need to also talk to you about Stroubes. Y'all got to get over to Stroubes Seafood and Steakhouse. All of our live shows proudly brought to you this season by Stroubes Seafood and Steaks, 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. And great food, great people, locally owned and operated, ownership right there in the building. Full menu of specialty meats, USDA prime black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. And for those looking for something outside of red meat, they offer items such as the dry-aged pork chop, black truffle, lobster, pasta, redfish, and much more. A great dessert menu. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroubes.com and make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. Beautiful restaurant, great food, and really one of the hidden gem steakhouses in all of Louisiana.
Very accommodating. I've been over there 2 or 3 times. I always call the young lady. She tells me, here, Mr. Buddy, park here, there. And we're going to have a contest at some point. The pork chop team versus the cowboy steak team, and you can't go wrong with either one, folks.
Yep. I'm going to do the cowboy ribeye, the one you just saw on the screen.
Yeah.
Chance Babin, did you see UNO made Master P president of basketball operations?
I didn't see that, but I just saw that UNO's got 4 players that are implicated in a point shaving thing. This is reared its ugly head with college basketball with the men. There's about 4 or 5 teams that have been implicated with point shaving. I don't bet on these games, but they have all these gambling rings and whatever, and they get to the gist of it. But UNO's having a tough year. I think they're 4 and whatever. So. But Master P, of course, the nephew is Victorious Miller. His real name is Percy Miller. And I just love watching that kid play now that he's healthy. Robert Miller, of course, is a legacy of Robert Miller, the football player. Got to keep those 2 Millers if you're going to have anything coming back for your team next year.
Brian Penton, I will give Coach McMahon 1 more year. Well, I think that's what it is. It's 1 more year. And if he make some significant improvement next year and shows with an NIL budget of $7 million plus that he can. That's
what you're hearing?
Yeah.
7. I think this year's been about 2.2 million is what we heard.
You ought to be a lot better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm pulling for him.
Yeah, we all are pulling for him.
He's got a great staff.
David Patrick's on that staff.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a good recruiter.
Coach
you would
Moore.
hope that some of his contacts will bring some players in here.
Yep.
Got to get some players.
Absolutely. This LSU baseball team, is there anything that you've seen that is a concern that you thought was going to be better than it is up to this point? Or what's your biggest concern?
Well, look, we talked about it early in the year, and you love the cold. I don't like the cold. And so when it's 50 degrees and the wind is blowing in the box.
But you like the long ball. I don't know if they're going to have a whole lot.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. I was just getting ready to say the ball doesn't travel as far this time of year, so it's hard to judge them. Look at Braswell.
But my point is, even when it gets warm, I don't know if they've got those kind of guys up there.
Yeah, well, and you got some of these portal guys that might come in, Luis or you
always like to make predictions for home runs in a year. How many does this team have?
100.
So that's 30 less than you predicted last year.
Well, no, they hit 114 last year.
Okay.
The year before, when they won it, they hit 144 or something. So they will not live with the long ball. But Daniel Dickinson, Derek Curiel, Monster Milam, all these guys, they hit through the lineup. You got to protect Bear Jones. But I just don't think you'll get an idea until how good they're going to be until you start to play better competition and the weather warms up. That box gets to be a launching pad when it gets hot. And look, bottom line is that I don't know if we've ever seen this much pitching, and he's going to have to keep everybody happy. Gavin Guidry wanted to be a starter. He was told, "Look, we don't see you at that role," and then he got hurt. So, but they have so many new pitchers. Kind of hard to say, but I guess you'd say right now, timely hitting. That's what I want to focus in on tonight. I don't want to see them play Dallas Baptist and have 4 or 5 hits. I want to see them get up there 9, 10, consistently hit the baseball.
Well, I know the negative seems to be, well, it probably just is, huh? Is the only negative in LSU athletics right now men's basketball? Is that it? I mean, everybody else is in the top 25.
Yeah, right.
And we talked about it earlier. The LSU football team should be in the top 10, which I'm buying. So it's a great year at LSU athletics, right?
Yeah, it potentially could be a great year. We always get this question, what's the next team that's going to win a natty? And it's interesting. 2 years ago, LSU had 2. Last year, they had 1 with gymnastics. So Jay Clark, by the way, really loaded again and they've got a chance. But you got to have the breaks. You got to peak at the right time. You got to stay healthy. You got to do all those things at the end.
Is it gymnastics or baseball?
This year, I'd give gymnastics a better shot.
Okay.
But we'll see. Scoring in gymnastics will make you pull your freaking hair out. I'm going to continue to predict it because I've been wrong for the last 3 weeks. But the ladies get their first 10 in the River Center. I guess is that still the Canes River Center?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they've got George Washington coming in.
I call it the Centralplex
on Friday night. Yeah. So can you give the ladies a 10? Haley Bryant with the first 10 of the year Friday night. I got all kinds of
I called Maison Blanche Godchaws all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Dwayne D, too many ways players are getting paid in all aspects of sports. It'll get worse with point shaving moving forward. and that's the other part of it. That's kind of why the NFL eventually allowed the Raiders to go to Las Vegas. You can't get away from it. How many states have legalized sports gambling? We've got it right here. I can go a mile up the road to LaBerge and place a sports bet. How many guys do you know, buddy, that would jump in their car and drive to Gulfport, Biloxi to lay sports bets and drive back once a week? So it's there in front of you. But this, if you want to talk about NIL and getting paid, the whole revenue sharing, that I don't see where that changes anything. All that is a minimum wage. All that does is set the bar for the minimum wage for the players. So they're the winners because they're going to make even more.
There were some lawsuits hanging that thing up in court, but everybody thinks that will come to fruition come June or July. And I think LSU is allocating about $20.5 million for revenue share in this first year. That's what I heard.
All right, Alumni Hall, get over there. Beautiful store, Perkins Row. They've got it all for you, Tiger fans. All the baseball gear. They got the new fitted LSU baseball hats in, the Aero version that everybody likes that keeps your head cool. They've got them in the fitted models in stock now. They arrived last week. Get them while they last. I've got a link to that on the front page of TigerBait.com. Use the code TigerBait, and you're going to get 10% off your order. But they've got it all. The Johnny O, On Reserve, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, and much more. Beautiful store right there in Perkins Row. Everything you order ships from that store. Some of the Cutter and Buck stuff, I think will ship from Cutter and Buck, but 98% of the stuff you order is going to ship from the Baton Rouge store, so you're going to get it very, very quickly. Free shipping on all orders over $99. They've got the 2 for $38 T-shirts. When you walk in the front door, they've got tables and tables of T-shirts. Most of them are 2 for $38. A lot of high-quality, great design shirts there. And you can mix and match and get really nice stuff there. And again, use the code TigerBait for 10% off. All right, let's see. We've got any more comments here before we get out of here? Dr. Butler says, at Brian, that is the decision. A set overtime down floor worries me. Can you imagine a coach in your ear while swinging a golf club? Sit down and stop coaching after lots of practice. Yeah, I'm not. Was that an inside conversation? I don't know where that was going, but
all I can tell you is that he's a Hall of Famer with LSU and Texas. He can play the golf and look, he juggles that LSU, his roots and his love with being a Hall of Famer over to Texas. Real quick, kind of off the record, getting those two in the conference, Texas and Oklahoma. Better for the league. And, oh, by the way, in case you've not been keeping up with it, Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti, the commissioners of the SEC and Big Ten, are trying to strong-arm college football. I hadn't asked you this, but they want the SEC and the Big Ten moving forward.
9 games.
What? No, they want 4 automatic SEC teams in and 4 automatic big teams in here. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I think you got to have transparency. We've got tweaking. They're going to change the seating. I think that's a given. They're going to be meeting. So a lot of stuff coming up with the CFP. But if they get 4 from the SEC guaranteed and 4 from the Big Ten guaranteed, then they're going to have to go up to 14 or 16 because everybody else is going to say we need more teams in.
Well, if you do that, you're going on a 9-game schedule.
Yeah. And I don't like
9-game schedule and an SEC championship game and all that. I mean, to me,
it's crazy.
It's too much.
Crazy. Too many games.
And I'm absolutely in the boat where, look, the purists will say, oh, I want an SEC championship. My mind tells me I want to avoid the SEC title game.
Yeah, I agree. And look, we've asked a lot of people, big-time people, they can't get away from it because it's just too much money.
Yep.
Too much money to walk away from.
All right, I got one more bill to pay, and y'all, it's Capital City Grill. Y'all got to get over there, especially if you come in town for LSU baseball games. We always talk about their Sunday brunch for after LSU football games. We'll hit their brunch before you head to Alex Box for the Sunday game when the Tigers are in town for a 3-game baseball weekend. And great brunch from 11 to 2. They serve lunch, regular lunch menu until 3. And it's just a great overall restaurant and lunch spot in Baton Rouge during the week. Club sandwiches, hamburgers, everything priced under $30. And it's located at 100 Lafayette Street. And again, great club sandwich. They got the seafood pasta, best carrot cake in Baton Rouge by far. And so go look at their menu. Do me a favor, capitalcitygrill.net. And again, when you head over there, when you're at the hostess stand waiting to get seated, please tell her TigerBait sent you in. Buddy, anything you want to add on the way out?
I just want to say great bar over there and also a great outdoor patio. Boy, with this spring weather coming in here, it is a lot of fun. And wrapping up, baseball tonight, basketball, women's basketball tomorrow night, gymnastics on Friday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 2, 4, and 4 on the D1 network with McDonald and Mikowski. And, of course, softball out west. And so we will be back over here, but I'm chomping at the bit just to see that first opportunity of giving us tidbits. 2 weeks from tonight on this show, we'll give you our first look-see on the 2025 edition of LSU.
Kendall Rogers says the code is LSU25. So I'm assuming he's giving 25% off now. Use the code LSU25 to watch the Tigers this weekend over at D1 Baseball.
And look, with Ben being on that broadcast, it makes it appreciably more valuable. Look, I know he's a good buddy of mine, but he, to me, is the best.
He is.
Because he's humble, and he tells it, whether you're a pro or whether you're just an avid baseball, you love
He has great stories when the game's slow. He's just he absolutely is the best nationally, I think. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Come back at 7:30. We're going to keep an eye on the LSU baseball game, but Emily Ward and I are going to do Inside LSU Women's Basketball at 7:30. Come back and join us there. Thanks again for all of you participating, and we'll see you again next week. Good night.